have not filmed a video in forever and it shows. So in a small companion, and the first one, girl, so out of practice. I did Hi everyone, it's Audrey and welcome back to Chapter and Converse. I have not filmed video in a really long time, so I feel super out of practice here. I had pre-filmed a bunch of stuff, so there hasn't been too much of a gap on what I've been posting, but I will be honest, I have been in like a super life rut funk with a capital F and super uninspired to basically do anything other than what was required of me to continue to breathe and live on a day-to-day basis. But it's been like a rough like 4 or 5 weeks, and like this is not like a clickbaity thing, like everything's fine, I'm fine, like nothing's wrong, everything's okay, there's not some big bombshell coming here, but I just haven't felt inspired in any kind of a way. I just have been like antsy and my anxiety has been kind of on overdrive, and I think I can, you know, hindsight being what it is, can trace it all back to the fact that in typical Audrey fashion, I was trying to do something good like exercise and work out at the gym, and I managed to basically injure myself, which is something I'm prone to do. So I overdid it, basically pulled something in my right leg, and it took like 3 weeks of pretty severe pain and a lot of stress over what was wrong with me, and 2 doctor's appointments to figure out that it basically probably is just like a muscle pull and I just need to let it ride itself out. And it's been way better, but I think anyone, if you've ever injured yourself, and I am someone who has chronic back pain, I threw my back out like in my mid-20s in another flukish, unexplainable way. Basically, I got out of bed one morning and set my back into spasm and have suffered from that ever since. But if there's anything physically wrong like that, and it's not, like I'm saying, it's not like a major thing, like things happen, you throw out your back, you pull leg muscle, I suffer from migraines, but you realize how debilitating something like that is and how it bleeds into everything. So I feel like I was so frustrated, I felt so set back, I couldn't do anything, I was like basically not allowed to exercise, not allowed to do much of anything, it hurt too much to do anything, and it just literally started to bleed into everything, and I just sort of felt bleh about life. So I thought I would hop on here today, kind of force myself out of it, because I realized there's no way to get out of a rut other than to push yourself out of the rut and just sort of have a little bit of a chit chat, let you guys know what's been going on. I haven't been reading as much as I would like to, and just nothing's really been clicking for me. But here I am, forcing myself out of the hole, getting to the other side, and let's just catch up on life. Since this is a booktube channel, let's start with the books. And I'm struggling with my books, and I feel like it has less to do with the books themselves and more to do with me. And I think like this started back in February. I had talked about this when I was reading Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine, and I was having like these very short like fits and starts with books where I was reading like 20 or 30 pages and that was it. And when I would get to kind of like a halfway mark in the book, and Eleanor was the first one, I like plowed through the second part of that book. And this became a pattern ever since then. And I literally think, with maybe 1 or 2 exceptions, this doesn't have anything to do with the book and has to do with me. And I think, like I said, I've been like distracted and just like flat, uninspired, having a hard time focusing on anything, and I think I've just been like so preoccupied with everything else that's going on. So unfortunately this pattern has continued, so it hasn't been my best reading month in a long time. But you know, part of the whole joy of reading is that it should be fun and it shouldn't be about the pressure. And I participated in Buzzwordathon. I finished 1 lousy book. And no joke, the book is under 150 pages. That should have been like a 2-day tops type of a thing for me. But like, this is just where my head's at. So I was feeling all this pressure that I needed to do more. And this is sort of when I like took my foot off like the gas and took a few days off kind of like from everything, spent time with my family, kind of zoned out from social media and all this other kind of stuff, and just took the pressure off myself because I was pushing myself to do stuff that I didn't want to do, and that defeats the entire purpose of having a booktube channel, which is all about fun and all about celebrating what I love. So yes, I did Buzzwordathon. No, it didn't go well, and here's my quick rundown. So the book I did actually read is Who Will Run the Frog Hospital by Lori Moore. And this was one of my 2019 rereads, one of like my fave books from the past that I've held on to for years and years. And I wanted to like see it again, read it again, to see if I still felt the same way about it or if this was just sort of sentimentality, keeping it on my shelf. And like I said, super short novella style. It's like 147 pages. And even though it took me 5 days to read this, I am very happy to say I did enjoy it. This is kind of like a coming of age story, and it starts in present day. Barry is our protagonist. She is in Paris with her husband. He's on a business trip, and she kind of reflects back to this one summer when she's 15 years old and kind of her best friend at the time and what they went through that summer and sort of how it kind of changed her and changed their life. It was sort of that critical coming of age summer for her. And it takes place in 1972 is the summer of their 15 year, and they live in upstate New York, and the girls work at kind of like this local amusement park. And then it flashes forward a little bit into Paris and sort of where she's at today and with her husband. So I did really still enjoy the book. It's one of those books, it's funny, I was reading a review on Goodreads where it's like, nothing happens in the sense that it's like, it's not a thriller, it's not action. It's really just sort of like a slice of life type of thing of that summer and kind of where she is now with her husband. But I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the sentimentality of it. And I think, you know, the thing, her best friend at the time, this girl named Sills, is like kind of the bad girl, kind of the wild child. She's sort of the bad influence. I had a friend like that. Who sort of introduced me to, you know, all the bad things that you're not supposed to do when you're a teenager, like, you know, drinking and smoking and staying out late and, you know, breaking curfew and lying to your parents and all that good stuff. And it just made me feel very sentimental for that. And I also just enjoyed it. And I definitely haven't read this in at least 10 years because I had not been to Paris when I had read this book. So it was fun to read it now, have them be in Paris, understand what they're talking about, where they are, understand the locations of it and everything. So it's a good book. She's a really good writer. I really enjoy Lori Moore. So I would say if you have a curiosity about it and you can actually find it, because this book came out in like 1994, I think, it's just like an easy breezy, fun, light, good read. So I'm glad I did read it, and I'm glad I still like it. And then I have two other books going, and the first one is Everything is Perfect When You're a Liar, which is a nonfiction book by Kelly Oxford, and it's a kind of like a group of essays. I talked about this in my TBR. I bought this years ago and kind of was flipping through it and thought it was funny and have never read it. I'm listening to the audiobook, which she narrates, and I'm probably like an hour and a half maybe into the audiobook. I think it's like 10 hours long, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to dump it at this stage. It's like random stories that don't seem to connect, that don't really seem to have a point. It's slice of life, but not in a great way. I'm just not enjoying it. So I'm 99% sure I'm going to DNF the audiobook today, and I'm going to unhaul the physical book. So this was a bust. I mean, this thing has been on my shelf for easily 6 years. So farewell, making room for something new. And then the last book from Buzzwordathon, which I am currently reading, is What Alice Forgot by Leanne Moriarty. And I'm about like 80 pages into it at this stage. I'm really enjoying it. I am having a hard time focusing, which is why I've been reading it for 2 days and I'm 80 pages in. But it's good. I'm committed. I'm excited to read it. I love Leanne Moriarty's writing. And this book, quickly, if you haven't seen my TBR, is Alice wakes up on the floor of a gym, unconscious. She's fallen off her spin bike, and she thinks it's 1998 and it's actually 2008. And she thinks she's pregnant with her first child, and she actually has 3 kids. And she thinks she's in this wonderful, fabulous marriage, and she's getting divorced. So she is trying to figure out where those last 10 years of her life went and what all is happening with her. I live for books like this. I love these books where like your character is missing a part of their memory, they have a chance to start over, things are not what they thought they were. Love it. So all in, all committed. Stay tuned for a full review on this one, but happy I picked it up. Some other quick book stuff is there's 2 new releases coming out soon that are some of my most anticipated. And the first is Linda Fairstein's new book, Blood Oath. And this is, I think it's her 20th in her Alexandra Cooper series. And I love Linda Fairstein's book. She is an auto-buy author for me. This is, like I said, it's a series. Alexandra Cooper works in the sex crimes unit in New York, which is where Linda Fairstein worked when she was part of that organization. And it follows Alex and, you know, the different cases that they're on and the police that she works with. It's a cast of characters. There's always kind of like 2 kind of crimes, mysteries going on. I just thoroughly enjoy the writing. I enjoy the stories. I love the people. I have not read the book before this, Deadfall, so that needs to happen first, so I probably won't auto-buy this when it comes out next week, but I will, or actually this week, sorry, but I will be buying it, so I'm super excited about that. And then the other one is My Lovely Wife by Samantha Downing, and I had talked about this in one of my most anticipated book release videos. I'll link that if you haven't seen it. But this one is pitched as Mr. and Mrs. Smith meets Dexter. There's this suburban couple. They've got some kids. Everything's good, but their marriage is in a rut. So I can relate to the rut part of things. But I guess they decide to like kill people to spice it up. So I don't know why or who they kill. The Dexter element's making me think they kill people that deserve to die. I don't totally know. I love the premise of it. And then I've seen a few reviews from people who have had arcs of this and they have all said great things about it. So this one I'm eyeing. Obviously it's a hardcover. It's a new release. I'm trying really hard not to buy hardcover new releases from people I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to have the patience to wait in the library, so we'll see which way this goes, but I'm excited to have books to be excited about, and I'm hoping this is also going to help me crawl out of this hole that I have been living in. So in the land of life rut, when I say like inspiration is like sapped across the board, like I haven't been writing, I stare at the book, I don't want to deal with it, I am, and it's because I'm at a really hard part in that I have written probably 3/4 of it, but if you are a writer, I'm a pantser. And if you're not a writer, that means I literally write by flying by the seat of my pants. There is no structure. I don't write in order. I just write scenes and ideas and things as they come to me, which is great in the moment, but when you actually have to go back and start to organize things and put things in order, it's like a freaking nightmare, to say the least. So I have created a sort of a scene list, and what I need to do is literally go in and start literally physically moving things around in my Pages document, and then figure out what's missing, add that in, and then start like a full rewrite kind of a mode of things. But I'm in one of the worst parts of the process for me, and I have been doing what I do best, and that's procrastinating and pushing it aside and not dealing with it. So I need to get over that because, you know, lots of people start books, lots of people don't finish them. I've finished books before. I want to continue to do this, so you can't get published if you don't finish the book. So I need to just hunker down, force myself to get over it, and just plow away at it. But I've been terrible at writing too, so rest assured my terribleness is not just with reading. So I would say normally when I'm feeling kind of blah about life, I'm great at like laying on the couch and like watching TV and just sort of binging life away. Even that has not been overly interesting to me. Like I can't even sit still enough to sit on a couch and get through more than maybe an hour of TV, like a couple times a week. So I don't know who I am right now, but I have watched minimal TV, but I have been watching a couple shows, so I thought I would talk about those. And there's another show that premieres on March 29th that I'm super excited about. So before we get to that one, teaser, I just want to talk about a couple shows that I have been watching. So I did finally catch up on Riverdale. I am still like beyond in shock about Luke Perry's death. I just cannot believe this. And if you are of my era, you understand the Dylan McKay, just everythingness. And I mean, when that news broke, that he had passed away, so many of my friends were like, we're all sending messages. We all used to like sit around and watch, episodes of 90210, and I had his posters on my wall, and I mean, just loved him. And he, if you don't watch Riverdale, he plays the dad of Archie in Riverdale. And it's just crazy to me. It's crazy. Just doesn't seem fathomable, but I finally caught up on Riverdale. I would say I'm struggling like a little bit with the season. I loved season 1, like obsessed. Season 2, I struggled a little bit. This is not a spoiler, but like the Black Hood storyline, and that starts at the end of season 1. But at the end of season 2, like it all came together and made sense, and I felt very redeemed and very satisfied with that one. And then this season, I'm struggling a little bit. I feel like some episodes are great and some I'm not into, but I'm all caught up, and it premiered last Wednesday, so this is not a spoiler also. But I nearly died when in like the last 30 seconds of this episode, you realize that Chad Michael Murray is joining the cast of Riverdale. So yes, I've talked about how I'm obsessed with like any kind of high school show. Lived and died for One Tree Hill. Love him. I do love him. So he is going to have a storyline. He plays a guy named Edgar Evernever. Like my heart just melted. So Skeet Ulrich plays a dad in it, so I love that like my teenage crushes are the dads, but I also love that my inappropriate, not a teenager, crushes on teenagers, although in all fairness he's 38 now, so it's not as gross as it sounds, that he's in it. So I cannot wait for Wednesday night to see more of him. It's so good. It's literally so good, you guys. I also have been watching, although I'm probably 7 or 8 episodes behind, A Million Little Things, which is on ABC. It premiered in the fall. It is about like a group of friends, and so it's 4 men that are friends, and they like were trapped in an elevator together one time, which is how they meet, and then it's their wives and kind of their families and their kids and everything. And the opening, not a spoiler, and again this premiered in September, so work with me, Ron Livingston plays one of the friends who in the first like minute or 2 of the episode he commits suicide. And the show is very much about how this impacts all of the friends, and how it sort of reveals some secrets and what secrets were there, and how they are trying to cope with it, and they don't understand. His name's John. They don't understand why John would have killed himself. So it's all of that, and then there are some flashbacks that show sort of the past and all of them together. It is my This Is Us of this year. I'm struggling a little bit with This Is Us, but like if you need a good cry or a good laugh or anything in between, like A Million Little Things, A Million Little Pieces, A Million Little Things is terrific. It's on Hulu. You can catch it from the beginning. Highly recommend, but be prepared to like be deep into the emotional sphere of life. For anyone out there who is a Buffy fan, like me, die for Buffy too, Heather from Bookables, along with a cast of characters, are hosting Slayathon, which is a rewatching of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Now this started in March. You watch 1 season per month. So yes, this is the end of March when I'm posting this. Season 1 is 12 episodes. So like, not for nothing, like this, you can do this. You can watch 12 episodes in 1 week. They're like 42 minutes each. It's on Hulu for free. The box set was on iTunes for like, I think like maybe $60. And it's all seasons. There's 7 seasons. It's a tremendous deal. And I'll be honest, I debated it for like a hot minute, but I do have the DVDs, so that felt completely reckless, and it is free on Hulu. So I just resisted temptation and didn't get it. But I've started rewatching. I'm probably halfway into season 1. This is such an amazing show, and I have not watched it from the beginning, and I can't tell you how long, but I have watched this series so many times. So it's like I said, it's one season a month. At the end of each month, they're going to do a live where everybody can talk about it. I will link Heather's video, the announcement video, down below. They were doing like a Twitter and, you know, how people can sort of stay engaged throughout the entire month. But it's so fun. It's just such a smart, amazing show. And I mean, I love Buffy and Angel. There's so many amazing episodes. It was so innovative at the time. I think it absolutely stands the test of time. So I have been dipping my toe in that. I need to get on it to finish it this week. But if you are a Buffy fan, that is something that is definitely worth getting into. Because even just in like the comments on Heather's video, it's just so fun to engage with people who are as obsessed as you are about that show. So that's another thing. And then the new show that I'm excited about is Hannah, which premieres on Amazon on March 29th. And this is with Mariel Enos and Joel Kinnaman. And if you don't know who they are, you need to watch The Killing. And if you do know who they are, they're back. Not in the same kind of roles, but The Killing is definitely one of my most favorite, like, mystery thriller, dark as dark can be TV shows. And this was originally on AMC and then it went to Netflix, I want to say. I think, yeah, I want to say you can see it on Netflix. I will include it down below. It might even be on Hulu. I can't keep it straight. But in that show, they were partners, police, detectives in Seattle. It is super dark. So if you are like not down for that, proceed with caution. It is a very dark, twisted TV show, and it's amazing, and the acting is amazing, and the cinematography is amazing. And a lot of people were annoyed with season 1 because they didn't solve the mystery at season 1. They left you with a cliffhanger, which I get that pisses off a lot of people, but now you can watch it in its entirety, so you don't have to wait for the finale. For those of us who watched it live back in the day, that was super annoying, but it's so well done. They are amazing together. And in this show, so Hannah, which has nothing to do with The Killing other than reuniting two of my most favorite people with each other. And in this show, they're actually kind of on opposite ends of things. So Mariel Enos plays a CIA agent, and she kind of goes off book. I just watched the trailer, and she is, I guess the whole CIA is kind of after this girl, Hannah, who is a teenager. So it's kind of like high octane, high concept thriller, coming of age story in a thriller. And Joel Kinnaman plays Hannah's father. So he's like raised her in the forest, unclear why, which you're supposed to be unclear why, and sort of trained her to basically be a badass. It's not like a sci-fi, anything like that. And the CIA are sort of out to find her and get her. So she's on the run. Obviously, Mariel Enos and Joel Kinnaman are against each other in this one because they're on opposite sides, like I said. But it looks amazing. It was based on a film, which I'd never heard of before. Apparently, it's nothing like the film. I just can't wait. So I don't know if it's like 6 or 8 episodes. March 29th. I'll include a link to the trailer below because, God, it looks just terrific. But so psyched for them to be back together again. So that's kind of my life lately. I don't know if this is of any interest to anybody actually, but I felt the need to like come on and just sort of like update on what's going on. I'm hoping, like I said, that I'm going to sort of force myself out of this rut. I think anyone who, like I said, has had any sort of like physical setback gets what that feels like and how that bleeds into things. I think anybody who, I don't think I mentioned this at the beginning, I'm on a new job hunt. And anyone who's done that knows looking for a job is a job. And it's discouraging, A, because there's not a lot of stuff out there. B, I'm trying to make a bit of a life change, which sort of puts me in like this weird bucket. And it's just like, you know, I just feel like depleted from life, basically. So the upside is I've been sleeping pretty well. And I'm really trying to focus, like, getting healthy, getting back to exercising, taking it slow. I would say my leg is like 90% back, which is great. It feels like 150% at this stage, and I'm just sort of trying to, you know, push myself forward it's hard to stay motivated a lot of the times. And I feel like usually I get into like this kind of a headspace in January, and it's weird that like January was good and most of February was good. And it's not even like weather related, but like daylight savings, like it's lighter out late at night now. I mean, it's like all of these things are turning for the better. So just gonna force myself to turn, keep on pushing, trying to take some baby steps and have some little wins. So that's where I'm at with things. So thank you guys for listening. Let me know if there's like any interest in me ever continuing to do random kind of life updates like this, kind of talking about like TV and other things that are going on. They won't always be doom and gloom, I promise. They won't always start with me, knock wood. It's not really wood, injuring myself. But I think, you know, just trying to keep it real, talk about what's happening here. I'm really not one for, you know, smoke and mirrors and faking it. And that's partially why I haven't sat down to film a video, because I know I wouldn't be able to force a smile if I wasn't really feeling it. So anyway, more than you guys probably even care to know. But let me know how you guys are doing, if you're watching any of those TV shows. If you did Buzzwordathon, you know, how you did with anything, whatever. Just let me know what's going on, because I would like to chat down below. And then I'm gonna, you know, film some more videos, get some more content out there. Let me know what else you'd like to see. I mean, I don't know. Let me know if there's anything that you're curious about chatting about, and let's do that too. So thanks for watching. Hopefully this hasn't discouraged anyone who's new from subscribing, so click that button down below. And anyone who returned to see me today, thank you for doing that, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye everybody.